Hello friends, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking all things cloth nappies, and I know this is a very niche sort of video for me, and there is only a select few of you who love listening to me talk about cloth. However, it is something I'm so deeply passionate about that I just need to. We need to talk about cloth more. But I first need to fix my camera. I'm not happy. Also, apologies for my hair. I don't know what's happening. It just hasn't worked quite how I wanted, but whatever. I don't actually care. So, today's video is sparked by the fact that I had to buy some disposable nappies this morning. Yes, believe it or not, people who use cloth nappies often still have some disposable nappies in their stash, just in case. I like to have a backup at all times. Generally, I have only had to buy probably one pack of nappies every 6 months of Harper's life, I would say. Sometimes I use them as night nappies only every now and then, just if I feel like I need a little bit of a break or I need a little bit of a catch up on my washing. It's good to have them as a backup. Today I had to get them because literally every single nappy we owned was in the wash, and it is very wet and nothing has dried yet. So everything is washed, however, nothing was dry in time for me to take Harper to childcare with enough for the day. So if she wasn't at childcare, I probably would have been able to stretch it because I would have been able to put some in the dryer whilst she had 2 left. I would have been able to put a couple in the dryer whilst she wore the other 2. However, I'd give her 4 to take to childcare. So I had to grab a packet. And I spent $15 and they were on special. I actually think it was like $15.90, so like $16, and they were on special. Sorry? That's ridiculous. And that comes with 44, which I think if I worked out like roughly, if she uses like 6 a day, that would last like a week. Sorry. $16 a week just so that my daughter can go to the toilet? No, thank you. I wanted to make this video to convince you to buy cloth nappies, basically. And not necessarily to convince you. Everyone is entitled to their own way of parenting. I think whatever works for your family. There is judgment-free zone here. I don't care what you do with your children. As long as you're not harming them, you do you. However, I think there are so many benefits to using cloth nappies, which I cannot even begin to explain on an Instagram story. And so I thought it was time to do the real deal and have a real proper chat about why I believe cloth nappies are so great. And honestly, this video could be like an hour long. I could talk about this forever, but I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet to an extent. I don't want it to be too short because I like talking about it. So, did you know? Now I'm going to throw around a couple of facts here because a lot of people aren't aware of this. But did you know that every disposable nappy that has ever been worn by any babies, including ourselves, because I was in disposable nappies as a baby, they all still exist, like fully, not decomposed at all. And they will for probably another 100 to 150 years, because it can take up to 450 years for nappies to break down. I remember I mentioned the other day about things like composting or decomposing and stuff, and someone told me I needed to correct my like terminology. So I believe the word is just like breakdown, I think. Apologies if that is incorrect. I'm obviously not perfect. So, but basically, they're all still in landfill. So every nappy that I weed and pooed in as a kid is just like hanging out somewhere. And same for you unless your parents used cloth nappies. And also everyone that Harper has used is still around. So that to me just baffles me, considering we use thousands. If you think of how many a baby uses in their life, depending on when they get toilet trained, it is ridiculous how many nappies babies, toddlers go through. Especially if they're a late toilet trainer. Anyway, so as far as environmental factors go, it's obviously a very good thing to swap to cloth nappies, just even if it's part-time. Every disposable that you are saving is good. And I have mentioned, I'm not perfect. I haven't used cloth nappies for Harper's entire life, and I also won't for the next baby, because when babies are first born, they go through a lot of nappies. And so my little girl who I'm pregnant with now will have her in disposables for the first little while, but we will move her into cloth nappies as well, and I will have 2 under 2 in cloth. Wish me luck. Next little fact for you. Cloth nappies are actually the most recommended form of nappy from the Hip Dysplasia Association. So if you are not aware, Harper, my 1-year-old, she's a year and 4 months, was born with hip dysplasia. This happens very often in Australia. I think it's 1 in 100 babies are born with hip dysplasia. And there is a whole Healthy Hip Association. There are a heap of things that you can do to ensure your children do have healthy hips, whether they are diagnosed with it at birth or a few weeks later, or even months later, or even a year later. There are things we can do to help our baby's hips. Cloth nappies are one of the things that are highly recommended, as well as not swaddling too tight and not grabbing their legs together when you change them. So, healthy hips, cloth nappies, they work hand in hand, which I love. Babies who wear cloth nappies generally have a lot less nappy rash. Now, I'm not 100% sure like the science or like the reasoning behind this. However, I would attest to it, because if Harper is in a disposable overnight, she often will wake up with nappy rash in comparison to how often she would wake up with nappy rash from a cloth nappy, which I just think is really cool, which means a whole extra like product, okay, like the nappy rash cream. We have barely used any nappy rash cream on Harper. She has gone through one tube this size, I think it's like 25 mil or 30 mil of Bungee nappy rash cream, and she's a year and 4 months old. So we just had to buy more last week for the first time. It's the first time I bought nappy rash cream since she was born, because she hasn't needed it, because she doesn't really get nappy rash because she's in a cloth nappy. Cloth nappy babies are also often toilet trained earlier, and that is because they can feel the sensation of being wet. Now, disposable nappies are pretty much designed for a baby to feel dry. Everywhere on all of the like marketing and all the things, it says stay dry, dry feel. Like it's all about them feeling dry in their nappy. However, a cloth nappy, that's not the case. The nappies I use, if you want to have a look at all of the cloth nappies I use and recommend, I will link that down below. But the nappies I recommend, I generally have a bamboo liner. She can feel when she's wet, so she knows that the sensation she gets is going to cause something to be wet. So she will know a lot younger. Not always. This isn't like every baby ever will be toilet trained earlier if they're in cloth, but the like statistics is that cloth nappy babies generally will toilet train easier and earlier, because they are actually feeling the sensation of wetness once they go to the toilet. So I mean, look, to me that's a huge perk, because I'm gonna have 2 under 2. So if one of them can be toilet trained a little bit younger, I'm not going to be mad, because that is something I'm really not looking forward to. However, on toilet training, if anyone wants to listen to a toilet training podcast, I highly recommend the episode by Beyond the Bump. I will be re-listening to it very soon. I listened to it when I was pregnant, so not really the ideal timing. However, I loved it, so that will be in my repertoire very soon, because I don't know when we will toilet train Harper. However, I am excited at the fact that it could possibly be a little bit easier and maybe a little bit quicker, and also just earlier than if she was in disposables. I think that's a really cool extra little perk. What else can I tell you to convince you? Oh, the price, duh. So the whole thing that sparked my video today. Cloth nappies are so much cheaper. Yes, they can be a little bit of an upfront cost. I got very, very lucky in the aspect that my wonderful mother used to buy still does, would buy my brother and his wife nappies for their children when she does her food shop. However, I obviously don't need her to do that for me, because we have cloth nappies. And so instead she did buy me a set, like a starter pack of cloth nappies, which was amazing. Now, the upfront cost can feel like a lot for cloth nappies. I'm not gonna, beat around the bush with that. It's just the way it is because you need to get your stack before you start before you use them. So I would estimate that it could probably cost up to $500 to start a cloth journey. However, you could spend that within 6 months of having your baby on disposables. So if you just did it whilst being pregnant, bought like a few cloth nappies a week, it would be the same situation. Considering I bought nappies today on special for $16, that would probably, if we were using them full time, would probably last Harper about a week. Even if that was for 1 year, and she is in like a size 3 nappy, it was Huggies. Nappies obviously vary a lot in price. If they're on special, they're not on special. Let's have a look at Woolworths, because that's where I generally shop. I went to my local Drake's this morning just because that was where I was. So let's go nappy. Let's say Huggies, because they, I believe, are like the most popular. I don't really know. But let's say I bought a Huggies. Here we go. There's so many options. I'm so confused. Okay. A Huggies nappy pack. Oh no, they're nappy pants. Oh my gosh. Okay. Here we go. So, a Huggies Ultra Dry Nappies for a toddler. So size 4, which is a 10 to 15 kilo. You get 36 in a pack. So I think like the bigger the baby gets, the less nappies they have in a packet, is $21. So let's say they were in those for, I don't know, 6 months. So 21, and let's say they used a pack a week. So 21 times 4 weeks in a month, roughly, times 6. So let's say they did that for 6 months. That's $500 already. That's for 6 months worth. Harper will have been in these cloth nappies for, I don't know, maybe 2 years, maybe 2.5, maybe 3, depending on when she gets toilet trained. I've already got my investment back within 6 months. And because I remember when Harper was a newborn and we did have disposables, she was in a hip brace, we were very confused. Newborn. So let's say for a pack of newborn Huggies, $21 for 50. Now, I don't even think 50 would last a week for newborn, if I'm honest. But let's say it did. So that, again, $21. Within 6 months, we would have spent $500. And I think she would use more than 50 in a week. Because I think some days we were using up to 10 in a day. Maybe more. So, look. The cost is paid back within months, I feel like. Which to me is a bonus, because I was shocked at the fact that I had to spend $15 on nappies today. And these will last me months because she will only use a couple every now and then. These will probably be the last size 3s I ever buy. But I just am baffled at how expensive nappies are. And to be completely honest, if you're then also buying formula, that's a lot of money you're spending on your kids. The cloth nappies that I have for Harper also will now be used for her sister. So I have had to buy some more. I am upping my stash to account for the newborn baby. However, how good that I don't actually need to spend that much more, because the cloth nappies will last for all of my children. I'm probably only going to have 2 children, but they will continue to last for my next child. So, environment, cost, they're cute as, like, if you have seen my cloth nappy stash, they are so cute, and I just highly, highly recommend. So as far as the environmental factors, my bank account, and just them looking cute, they're good for her hips, they hopefully will help in toilet training, she doesn't get nappy rash. I just think there's so many, I could go on and on probably. There are so many other things. I've probably forgotten so many other things that I love about cloth nappies, but I just could not recommend them enough, if I'm completely honest. So if you have any questions, please pop them down below or DM me on Instagram. I'm much quicker on Instagram because I get the notification like right then and there, whereas comments I do maybe once a week on my YouTube videos. So feel free to DM me with any questions that you may have. I will link my other cloth nappy videos down below because I do have a couple, and there will be another one coming. I don't know if it'll be before this or after this, if I'm completely honest, but there will be more cloth related videos coming because I'm just feeling a bit inspired at the moment. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope it inspired you a little bit, and I'll see you in my next video, which will be very soon. Bye.